injecting her own 3-month-old baby with heroin. Even for the people of Child Protective Services, an agency that is used to dealing with abused children, this case was shocking. But whatever happened to the baby? In tonight's special assignment, our Marcy Valenzuela brings us all up to date.
He's being silly when he goes around and knocks his head into the wall.
Matthew Fair is quite possibly the happiest, if not the silliest, 5-year-old you'll ever meet.
And there's people who can't handle that. It's too different. And I think for me and for my kids, they see nothing wrong. That's a normal kid to them. And he is a normal kid. He just happens to have, his brain works a little different.
Matthew was developmentally delayed and unable to speak. He slipped into this condition at 3 months old when his mother injected him with heroin. At the time, he had just had surgery for a hernia, and thinking she could ease his pain, she used a syringe to inject him with the drug.
She got 90 days in the county jail. If he had died, she would have got more time.
It was a case that made headlines and stunned even Sacramento's Child Protective Services.
It's the mother using drugs during her pregnancy. That's how we usually get a child with drugs in the system. But for a mother to actually purposely inject an infant or a young child with drugs is very unusual.
The story died down in the media, but the child was left hospitalized. And that's when his aunt, Sharon Fair, stepped in.
The first day when I went and saw him in the hospital, I just fell in love with him.
She already had 3 children of her own and a 4th child who was killed in an accident. In a way, she needed Matthew as much as Matthew needed her.
I decided I was going to have 4 kids, so I would stop crying. But I had 3, and then Matthew came along. So
Initially, Sharon served as Matthew's foster parent, but in 1995, she officially became his mommy. When the adoption papers were signed, Matthew was 3. But she put his birth announcement in the paper as if to show Matthew was getting a second chance in life, despite his limitations.
He can't talk.
He's obviously limited. He can't speak. He can sign, but he also has motor delays. So he can't sign like this. He does this for I love you, and this is I love you, and this is yellow or play, and he does this.
To say that Matthew is a handful is an understatement. He literally never stops moving.
This is even a quiet day.
The heroin overdose damaged the sleep center of his brain, so he runs and runs and never tires.
I go bowling once a week, and he got kicked out of the nursery.
Half an hour before bedtime, Sharon has to give him medication so he can sleep.
Matt, take your medicine.
Only then do things quiet down long enough to reflect on how much Matthew means to this family.
When people call him rude names, like he's retarded, which he's not, I get really mad.
He's nice.
He's somewhat demanding and very rambunctious, but Sharon wouldn't have him any other way. She marvels at how Matthew is forever smiling and how he's learned to sign about 300 words.
His teacher says he's inspirational, and I think that's so true because he just, I mean, you think about where he came from.
The odds were definitely against him, but with the love and nurturing he's getting now, Matthew's future is hopeful. Social workers here at Child Protective Services say he's just another in their long list of success stories. Because while we hear tragic cases of children being exposed to drugs, rarely do we hear how these children get helped.
To us, a success is whether or not we are able to match these children with a family who is loving, who's going to believe in them and provide them with the permanence so that they can have what normal children have.
Who said red?
And while nothing can erase the permanent scars these children carry, Sharon is determined to make Matthew's story have a happy ending.
Did you say green? No, I said red. You know, it was on the news. It was like Sacramento woman injects baby with heroin. And you know, you don't ever hear what happened to the baby, what happened. And he's a really neat kid. And I'm so glad that he's here. Yes, I said red.
On special assignment, Marcy Valenzuela, KOVR 13 News.
You're a good mom, Sharon. Matthew, you're a lucky, lucky boy. Marcy tells us, according to the CPS social workers, every month at least 50 babies, 50, are born exposed to drugs in Sacramento County alone. Each one of those cases gets investigated, and if the parent agrees to drug treatment, the child may be allowed to live at home. Otherwise, the baby is then placed into foster care. Any woman giving birth to a second child who tests positive for drugs will have her children taken away immediately. Still ahead,